Joe, speaking of, fall is in full swing, and we are back in the kitchen now talking fall squash and apples with Chef Michael Roddey. Welcome back, Chef.
Thank you. Glad
it's great to see you again. So you got a ton of stuff cooking already.
We're doing some things
what's
today.
What's going on?
Well, we're featuring fall squash. This is that time of the year, and we're going to do apples. I saw a lot of apples at the farmer's market. So squash, a couple of different things we're going to be doing. I'm going to be making a butternut squash soup, baked acorn squash, and spaghetti squash. So to take some of the fears out of squash, these are the type of squash that we're using today, a butternut and an acorn. The preparation for these, to get these to your table, essentially cut the ends off, cut them in half, scoop the seeds out, and bake them in a baking pan. Put them in the oven. You can put a little bit of water in there, and then the shell helps to protect the meat that's inside.
Gotcha.
So the meat, this is a butternut squash, and I'm going into the soup. Already in the pot, I have our wonderful aromatics of onion and carrot.
It does smell so good.
We're going to move in with the butternut squash. So we're shooting for a 5-minute cream of butternut squash soup here for us today.
Hey, that's good. If you don't have much time, you can just make it happen in 5 minutes.
So you can turn the oven on and roast all your different squash at one time, which is what I did. Spaghetti squash, butternut squash, and then here I have some more butternut squash that's going into the pan.
Gotcha.
And what I did with the top is saved a little bit of the top to turn that into our garnish. So we can add that in at the end and have then some nice contrast and shapes going on inside the soup.
Yeah. This is so colorful. I love that.
It's wonderful stuff. The key on these, really, obviously you want to cook them so they're palatable, but you don't want to overcook them because then they turn into mush, and then we are obligated really to turn it into a type of soup.
Gotcha.
So here I have in the pan now the butternut squash. Going to add some of our wonderful garlic into there, nice fresh garlic, and it is local. Local garlic right there from the farmer's market that I attend.
You can't beat garlic.
No, that garlic press works very well. So season up as I go. I always salt and pepper everything, so then we layer the seasoning. And with the oil that I have in this pan, I'm going to then add flour. So the flour is going to give us the thickening agent that we want in there. So it absorbs the fat, absorbs the oil that I'm cooking the vegetables in, and then that gives us what in culinary terms we call a roux, which is a thickening agent. So the starch swells around the liquid when we get it in there, which in this case, as I said, vegan. We're making a vegan cream of, so I'm going in with soy milk for this.
Soy milk, gotcha.
You could use almond milk, rice milk, what have you. The rice milk is going to have a little bit more sweetness. As we know, with soy milk, we get more protein, less carbohydrates than you would in a rice milk as well.
Okay, we're about 3 minutes in.
Okay.
And that was pretty
pretty quick. So that's going to simmer for us, and it's going to work for us as we go. So that's going to be our soup. I did have this potato masher here. You can mash it up a little bit if you want to get a little more smooth consistency. The other item that we have is the acorn squash. So with the acorn squash, again, very simple. It was roasted upside down in the shell. All we're going to do is cut it, put it in your baking dish. This is not a good representation, but then we could come in, season it. I got a little bit of honey on there. Always a little bit of salt.
Salt and pepper.
Pepper. And then I'm going to hit it with a touch of cinnamon.
Oh, cinnamon. Wow, so it's going to be kind of sweet a little bit.
It's going to be a little sweet. So that's where we can appeal to the children and to the adults as well. A little pat of butter on each one.
Got it.
And this is exactly how I bake them in the oven. A little pat of butter. And then I even have some wonderful chopped almonds here that we can put in to bake in the oven.
Very nice.
And then through
magic of television.
As we say, exactly, there you have it.
Be careful, it's probably hot.
And it is warm, actually. It is warm, but I've got the culinary fingers. So that's our acorn squash. And we can take the wonderful juices that were left in the bottom and pour it right over top.
We have about 1.5 minutes left. Can I try that?
Sure. You don't want to eat the skin.
You're
going to eat the inside of it.
All right, I'll eat the inside.
So the squash soup is going.
That's tasty.
And now I have, it should be good. All that sweetness and nuts and everything. Spaghetti squash. Spaghetti squash, same thing, baked upside down in the pan. And when we call it spaghetti squash, it's not because of how wonderful we cut it. It's because it actually, when it's not overcooked and done properly, it turns in and just like spaghetti.
So you can eat that like spaghetti if you want to,
You can eat it just like that. A lot of people will put sauce right on it and use it in place of spaghetti. I prefer not to. I like to bring it into a saute pan.
Oh, with the garlic and everything.
With some garlic, exactly. I've got some more garlic right here that will go in. So really, this is already cooked. All we're doing is really, at this point, going to soften the garlic a little bit.
Wow.
With a little bit of heat. Again, bring in your salt and pepper. And we're heating up the spaghetti squash at this point. Again, not to overcook it, just to finish it up. Spaghetti squash. What else do we have? Fresh thyme. Again, from my local farmer's market right in downtown Hollidaysburg.
Wow, you can't beat it. It smells so good. We're running out of time for our apples.
Well, that's all right.
But
we got a good stuff on squash.
Yes, we do. And we do have recipes on our website. We're going to tell you about the apples on there. So just go to CentralPA TV.com and you can try out all of these recipes at home. Chef Michael Roddey, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
This is fantastic.
The apples are just as simple. Quick saute, just like the squash. So.
Wonderful.
Very good.
Sweet treat for fall. And we're back with Life and Health after this.